Hey,
What up?
it's working.
It
It's
is.
working.
And nothing so far is broken. That's the real upside here. So until Tim shows up 10 minutes
Yeah,
after we
Tim will
start
break
and
it.
totally fucking breaks every single camera that is on
Yes.
here. Because that is.
Somebody's got to do it.
Or I punch my mic. One of the two. One of the two things happens.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways, bud, how are you?
Not so great. It's springtime, which means my basement is flooding.
What?
Yeah. Here in Minnesota, we've got this little thing called shitty houses with bad
Do you
basements.
have a sump pump?
No.
Okay. I have a sump pump. The reason why my basement completely flooded last year, and I had to like tear out all the carpet and shit that I had down there, is because the sump pump failed,
Oh, yeah.
and all that shit. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you had a sump
It's
pump, you
not
wouldn't have
too
to worry about
bad.
that.
Like it's bad, but it's not ruining anything. Just a little bit of standing water on the floor there. But it's annoying.
God, this that sounds awful. I'm sorry. That sucks.
It's been a
Yeah.
struggle.
It sounds like it. Well, have you played any good video games lately to offset the disappointment in your house?
God, have I played any good video games lately? You know what I was playing earlier today?
What's that?
I booted up Pokemon Stadium
Ooh,
on the
ooh,
Nintendo Switch little emulator thing.
yeah.
That was an experience. It's funny, I
Sounds
don't
bad.
remember. There's just like so much of Pokemon Stadium that relied on you having like the N64 um, Game Boy cartridge
Right.
plug-in. So like three of the four things on the home screen for the game are
Hmm.
like, oh, you don't have a cartridge, you cannot access this.
Oh
Like,
my
all right.
god. Okay.
But yeah, I went in and there's like the little like battle cups that you can do. So
Yeah.
I started playing that and the fucking second Pokemon I ran into in the battle was a Magnemite.
Mm-hmm.
But so normally they have like red and blue for the tips of their little magnets.
Yeah.
But this one was like purple and green and I was like, "Oh, that's weird. Is that like shiny Magnemite?" And I looked it up because that didn't sound right to me and I learned something weird about Pokemon Stadium.
Okay.
Apparently, they programmed Pokemon Stadium so that it would take the nickname of your Pokemon and reference like the ID number of the Pokemon as
Mm-hmm.
well as your trainer ID.
Mm-hmm.
And if it met certain circumstances, there are like three or four different alternate colors for each Pokemon in the game. It's
What?
wild.
What?
Yeah, it's so weird. I found this dude had like a whole Google Doc of like
Oh,
each
I did glance at
thing.
it earlier.
Yeah, that's what that was. It was just like so strange. Like why did they program this cool thing in Pokemon Stadium and not in like the main Pokemon games?
Were there shinies in red and blue? Do you know?
Uh I'm not sure off the top of my
I have to
head. I don't
Google it
know.
now. I have to Google it
Hard to
now.
say. Alan, hey, what up? We're here, we're chatting, we're pixeling, we're
Holy
Pokemoning.
shit! Hold on. I
Holy
didn't know.
shit.
I didn't know this. So there were not shiny Pokemon weren't introduced until Gen 2. So depending, and I'm about to Google when Pokemon Stadium came out, that could mean that the idea for shinies was first tested in Pokemon Stadium.
Hmm.
So I'm
Yeah,
Googling.
maybe. I don't know where it falls in the timeline, but that
Yeah,
could be. That'd be pretty wild.
yeah.
The
April
origins of
30th,
shininess.
1999 for Pokemon Stadium. Let's see.
Hmm.
Let's see Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Oh, hey, Sonny. Misses you both.
Hey, what's going
Yo.
on, Sonny? Pokemon. What was the date I just I said?
April something, 99.
Was it April?
I think so. You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be it. Pokemon Stadium
Interesting.
released on April 30th, 1999, and Pokemon Silver and Gold release date Oh my god, just pull it up like you were before. What the?
Come on, internet. Damn.
November 21st, 1999. So like 6 months
It
ish.
could be, yeah.
Yeah,
Could have
they
been.
could have tested it, and because back in those days, like the sprites weren't as like detailed. You was switching colors too. You know what I mean? So it's not like
Mhm.
probably a little bit easier to do back then than it is now. So yeah, maybe that's a thing. I like Pokemon a lot. Didn't know that.
Interesting.
So there we
A lot of
go.
lore, a lot of development lore to Pokemon. Like, did you know that they originally pitched it as everyone's copy of the game was basically going to be a randomized version of the world and like the Pokemon that you can access in it,
Wait, hold on.
and that's why they have the ID number for the trainer.
They wanted to make a roguelite.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah, like everyone's game would be different.
That would have been
So
dope as
like,
fuck. It would have been hard as fuck. Could you
yeah,
imagine me and you if we both had it as like children and then like we're trying to like
dude.
compare notes and it's different and there's no FAQ like there's no FAQ guides, there's nothing like that. Like there's no internet. You know what I mean? You're just out here.
You caught a what? You caught a Shitmagon? I don't have one of those in my
uh,
game at all.
you got a Celebi? What the fuck's a Celebi? Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, it was really interesting to read about that. They basically decided that that was the issue. It was too hard to implement that, and make it unique for everybody.
well,
So,
I think
you know,
you know what I they should do that today. They should do it
that
today.
would be sick.
That
Yeah.
would be fucking insane. Could you imagine that? It would give a really good reason for the multiplayer.
Hmm.
Because it'd be like, hey, come explore my world. Like, it'd literally be different. You know what I mean?
Right. Then somebody would have nothing but Bidoost, and they'd be like, "Wow, this is bullshit. I'm getting my money back."
What if they're shinies? Every single one of them is shiny Bidoof everywhere.
Well, that's the thing with like randomization, right? It's like somebody's always going to be unhappy with what they get.
Yeah.
That was like in Sea of Thieves, the first curse that they had in the game
Mm-hmm.
was you do like all the tall tales, max them out, do them a bunch, and then you get this gold curse
Mm-hmm.
where your skin is like made of gold in random splotches,
Mm-hmm.
and every player's curse was just randomly generated
Mm-hmm.
and theoretically unique to them.
Mm-hmm.
But one player would have like all these splotches all over, and the other player would have like a tiny little piece of gold on their finger. So they ended up doing away with that, and now they all look the same.
What do you mean? You could call me Goldfinger.
I
Uh,
know, dude.
There's so many good
Yeah,
ways to spin that.
yeah. It's one of those things. It's like it's got to be a better solution than just getting rid of that.
So well, yeah, I would say for like the world. I mean, you see it all the time. RimWorld does it. Dwarf Fortress does it. Just being able to randomize a seed, right? You know what I mean, and then name it whatever and kind of go from there type deal. Like if the
Hmm.
Pokemon games had that, it'd be cool. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
It,
it'd be a
even
sweet
even with
feature.
shitty graphics, I'd be willing to like. It'd give me a reason to keep like fucking making random worlds to see. Like, what if you just get like a lava planet, all fire Pokemon everywhere?
Right.
Just
Maybe it's like, okay, you guys tried 3D.
yeah,
For the mainline games, dial that back. Keep doing weird spin-offs with 3D. For
yeah,
the mainline games, go back to 2D. Focus on mechanics. Do cool new shit with what you got.
maybe yeah. Because they failed at this last one. I'll tell you what. Just take Legends Arceus. Just take that, and just do that more
Yes,
and better,
please.
for the love of God.
Yes.
Um, but
Yeah, what have you been playing?
yeah, I
Buddy?
didn't have a good segue for this, but I have been playing Soulstone Survivor, which
Hmm.
I'm sure you know is another Vampire Survivors clone, but it's like Vampire Survivors with actually like really good fucking graphics for like
Right.
that kind of game. Also particle effects out the ass. Like it literally has a slider in the menu so you can turn them down if you
Ass
want.
effects?
Yes, yes, completely ass
Nice.
effects. Should add that to the soundboard. Uh, what the fuck gonna say? But yeah, no, it has particle effects like craziness or whatever. Like once you get all the abilities going and whatnot. But they're
Hmm.
holding an event, and for like Easter, and it's like the 6th to the 16th or something like that. So I went in there and I started playing it, and I was like, man, I really like this game. I also did that because I've been listening slash watch, mostly listening, but slash watching to. Have you heard of Ari Ferretta? The anime.
No.
Okay. All right. So,
Lay it on me.
isekai, right? I watch a lot of isekai, but isekai, um, pretty like OP main character, like basically completely OP main character. Harem, like basically trashy anime is really what it
Sure.
is, which is why I listen to it more than I watch it. But I
Hmm.
see memes on it all the time, so I'm just like trying to understand. It's like the same thing I did with Death Note when I was playing Valheim,
Right.
like same idea, right? And I'm just like trying to understand the references. And but I'll tell you what, the second season, like the first season's all like, it's basically all garbage. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mhm.
this garbage horror anime with a OP protagonist.
Yeah.
The second one, still that, but the last like 4 episodes are actually like legitimately dope because there's like a bunch of betrayals that happen because it's not just the OP that the original like the main character that gets transported. It's this whole class. And you got like
Oh.
classmates like killing each other and shit, like backstabbing each other, and one of them's like a necromancer and is bringing the classmates back to life and having them fight for her and shit. It's crazy. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, this is legitimately kind of cool. And then
Yeah.
the main character then showed up and just fucking wipes the floor with everybody. But like, with the way it was set out and everything, I was like, all right, I see you. Like, this isn't too bad. I can live with like an ending like this kind of thing. So it kind of made it worthwhile to listen to the nonsense while I was playing. But yeah, lots of Soulstone Survivor
Very
lately.
nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of anime, did you notice they're doing a season 2 of Star Wars Visions, the like Star
Oh,
Wars
are they?
anime that they're
I
doing?
did not hear
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I haven't watched the trailer, but they put out a trailer for it, and I was happy to see that because I mean it's not like a whole new series of anime, which I would love
Right.
to see just an actual like Star Wars anime,
Right.
but those animations were kick ass.
Dude, give me a Samurai Champloo Star Wars type anime. Give me that.
Yo,
Oh,
yeah.
that is something. One last thing about Ari Ferretta or however the fuck you say that title. Something that they do well, really, really well in that show. They have really similar music to Cowboy Bebop, and I'm fucking here for it. During
Oh,
like some of the
interesting.
fights and stuff, it's got like that little
Hmm.
action jazzy thing going on. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like jamming. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was a huge thing in all of that dude's
Right.
anime that he directed. Like
Yeah.
music plays such a huge role.
Oh yeah. But yeah, give me Star Wars Samurai Champloo type crossover, 100%.
We need it.
I bet you that would be incredibly popular. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, that's just. Mm.
Do you think it will be as popular as the new Star Wars Fallen Order game?
I hope that game is extremely popular. I really do. I still haven't finished
Yeah,
the first one, of course,
naturally.
but I it's an original Star Wars story that fits. Like you might not necessarily like it, but it doesn't feel like anything's being like shoehorned from
Hmm.
like I don't know like book lore, right? You know what I mean? But like it doesn't, not that the book lore makes any sense anymore anyways from what I understand, but
Yeah, it's all,
kind of
whatever
wonky.
you feel like, whatever you want to call canon,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. I be seeing videos about like which lightsabers you're like birthstone type shit or
Oh, of
whatever,
course,
and I'm
yeah.
like, where the fuck do they get this? Because it was like your lightsaber is the white lightsaber. I was like, what? And it means, I don't even remember what it means. It was like XYZ, and I was like, where the fuck did this come from? Like,
Yeah, that's like, I don't know, man. People do that shit with fandoms, That's just like
mhm,
the Harry Potter wand thing.
I know.
Yes, the core of Dragonheart.
Hey,
That means that
look,
you're a brave
look, but you
person.
can at least get an official wand through the Harry Potter website. It's not just
Oh,
like
shit.
you know,
Give me a lightsaber, yo.
yeah, fuck yeah. Like, let me make my own lightsaber and tell me what it is about it. I don't know. I guess what was her name? Ahsoka.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess she is like the main character that has white lightsabers, and apparently she like fought Sith, killed him, took the cores out of his lightsabers, then meditated on them until they turned white or some shit. Went from red to
Yeah,
white. I was like, what the
yeah.
fuck? I was like, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, there's like I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that happens in like I assume that was all in the Clone Wars probably or maybe Rebels.
Yeah,
That's primarily where Ahsoka's from.
right.
And then we've got that spin-off series with her now after
Oh,
she
Bad
appeared
Batch.
in The Mandalorian. No, no, live action
Oh
Ahsoka
yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot
series
about
with
that.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, I forgot that that came out. Um,
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually out yet, but they had a trailer very recently.
but yeah, I do remember seeing something about that, and I was like, oh hey, like she's become incredibly popular. You know, the one thing
Hmm.
I tried to watch, like that cartoon anime Star Wars or whatever.
Hmm.
I think I would have enjoyed it more if it wasn't stuck in the 30-minute like enemy of the week format. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Was
it's
that, did you watch the 2D or the 3D series? Because they're
the
very different.
oh
Because,
I
yeah,
don't
I think
I
the 2D series came out first, and then they did the 3D Clone Wars, um, which went on a lot longer.
so I know that there's a Clone Wars that came out like a long time ago, and then they kind of like came out with another one
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I didn't know that at first. I was talking to my cousin Justin, and he helped me realize this kind of thing. So,
Hmm.
um, so yeah, I don't. I was watching the more recent one
Okay.
of the two is what I was watching
Hmm.
because it's what's on Disney Plus. Like that's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it
So
definitely does have that kind of a vibe to it, at least early on. Like, I think it does kind of evolve and get a little more, you get
right,
more overarching themes and shit throughout the
right,
episodes as it goes on. But early on, it's like they had so few assets. They just had like the clone trooper asset and like
yeah,
Yoda, and that
yeah.
was like it.
Yeah, dude. Well, and it's just it kind of just. I think I watched like 6 episodes or something, which isn't a lot for that because I think there's like fucking 8 seasons
There's a
or some
lot.
shit,
Yeah.
and there's like 30 episodes a season, something stupid. But you know
Oh,
what I
there's,
mean. But it's just kind of tied to that villain of the week type thing, and it's just like okay,
yeah.
I'm
I,
not here for Power Rangers. Like,
I definitely found myself, kind of skipping around to just like episodes that I thought were interesting. Like I found a
mhm.
master list of like episodes that have to do with Mandalorian shit and just watched
Oh
all those.
yeah, there you go.
Same thing for Rebels. Rebels I think was less interesting than Clone Wars was
Hmm.
even. I got pretty bored of that like right away, and so I just like skipped around.
I will say Bad Batch didn't suffer from that. I watched like 6, 7
Oh,
episodes of
that was
that,
pretty good.
and it's like yeah, I didn't watch all of it because haha, it's me. But the stuff that I did watch, I was just like, oh, like this is like decent, and it wasn't like held to that like same formula kind of thing. Like there was like it was like a normal fucking TV show for adults. You know what I mean? Which was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it definitely felt like a better progression and some character development and shit in
Right.
there.
Right. But back to your original question. Yes, I actually do think that this new one's gonna be popular. I I think the character it starts with a K. I'm forgetting his name.
Kale.
Cal. Yeah, I think his name or I think he's gained a lot of popularity over the past. Like initially, I don't think he was super popular, but like I think the game is like kind of grown on people over the years, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Especially with like how bad the movies turned out, right? Because I
Yeah.
think I think the 2 out of the 3 movies came out in that time frame. I could be wrong. From like
Mm.
its release, I think it released right around the time of the second of the newest trilogy, and then the third one came out, and that thing was like god awful, right? So it's just like, hey, good Star Wars, and I think everybody's kind of gravitated to it because of that. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
can
it's
see that.
yeah, I think he's gotten a little bit more popular kind of as time's gone on. So I'm excited. Like I said, I'm gonna live vicariously through people because I have a lot of money I have to dump in my car right now. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm excited. I am excited. Good Star
Yeah, it
Wars.
looks a lot of fun. The recent trailers, they've shown off some cool stuff, seeing his different fighting styles, a
Yeah,
la Ghost of Tsushima almost.
yeah,
Seeing the dismemberment on the stormtroopers,
yes,
that's a
yes,
plus.
yes.
You know,
You know, even though this wouldn't like make sense in the Star Wars universe, would you want to see blood?
yeah,
Yeah, like I don't like obviously
not
I don't.
from lightsabers necessarily, but I mean,
Well, I
you
mean
know,
lightsabers or lasers, right? Which is like I feel like most of the weapons in the universe, right? that you generally see portrayed in like Star Wars media kind of thing. I'm sure
Mhm.
there's way more gruesome things in the books. I know there's that one book that's like a zombie apocalypse book with
Yeah.
like stormtroopers. I actually do want to read that
Hmm.
because I was like, that
That looks
sounds.
really good.
Yeah, I was like, this looks dope as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, regardless, it kind of reminds me, like, with the little I've heard about it, it reminds me of like a Death Watch kind of
Yes.
vibes.
Like there's this Hulk ship and it's
Yeah,
like empty and shit. Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
does
yeah,
sound really good.
yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
sure there's more gruesome shit, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see a more I mean, Fallen Order was a more mature title.
Right.
But I think that they could go further with it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that. Doesn't
You.
have to be like Dragon Age where you are sprayed with blood, but
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
What? Well, would you want it to be like Callisto Protocol? You, like use force powers, like throw people into shit and just like watch them like get
Oh man.
buzzsawed and shit. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, yeah, basically with the Force Unleashed but with gore.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That'd be great.
You know, it would. I feel like we talk about like game systems and stuff all the time, but it'd be cool like if you added like a morality system on top of that. So
Mm,
if you're constantly like torturing people to death, basically, you know what I mean, or killing them in the most
mm.
brutal way possible, you slowly,
Going dark
yeah,
side.
slowly, because you're just like like just brutal all the time. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. That's I feel like they don't really do morality systems in games
Mm-mm.
anymore. I think that's really
I
a
think
system that's been abandoned.
Well, it's hard to balance, and I think it's hard to balance and hard to do right. And like once people understand it, they kind of game it a lot. You know what I mean? Um,
Oh, sure. That's actually they did something kind of like that in Triangle Strategy
hmm
where the first time you play through,
hmm
there are three hidden values and it's like justice, utility, morality or something. And you have to make decisions
hmm
and you don't know where your stats are for those three things, and if they're not high enough then you won't be able to like persuade anyone based on the decision you've chosen.
Right,
And I thought it was really cool that they made it like a blind choice, like you don't know the first time
right.
you're going through it, so you can't game it in that way.
Um, yeah, I do like that, but also I do remember you having some frustrations with that when it
Yeah, it
first came
pissed me
out.
the fuck off, dude. It's fucking annoying because basically without knowing, like, they present you with decisions, and if you didn't like have your whatever stat high enough,
hmm
there's literally nothing you can do to change anyone's mind. So it's like you don't even get to
Right,
decide anything.
right. Yeah. So and well, that's kind of what I mean with like the morality systems where it's hard to balance. Like it's hard to find the balance to where like the player still finds enjoyment, but also how do we make it so like each decision matters, but not like oh if I just always do the bottom one, that's the negative one. You know, like that was
Mhm.
basically how Mass Effect worked for a good chunk of it. You know what I
Right.
mean? If I do this
Yeah.
bottom one, I'll say something to the gist of this, and I'm a dick. You know what I mean? Like you know, so I.
Yeah. BioWare, they kind of I guess they kind of transitioned, right? Like
Mm,
it almost didn't feel like morality stuff. It was just the choices you make will have repercussions,
right.
which was awesome.
Right. Well, yeah, I haven't seen another game do what they did, which was like literally three games where each like you had major choices. Like, oh,
That carried over.
right,
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
like
That was
nobody else has
incredible.
really done that, which I find surprising because I thought it was really like, especially at the time, it was like super popular, and then it like
Hmm.
disappeared. You know what I mean? So it's just like
Maybe
bring it
it's just
back.
it's hard for people to like make sequels. Like you never know what's gonna happen to the IP, you know? So
Yeah,
many games just like never make it back.
but you would hope that a studio like Bethesda would be able to like you could bank on them or BioWare or you know what I mean like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or this is a perfect segue or Arcane right with Redfall
Ooh.
yeah you know I don't know if you want me to go into this or if you want to go into this
No,
uh
go for it, man.
yeah
There's been some negative stuff going on.
yeah so this is like there's a lot to this like there's different facets to all this right at the lowest level it's really um just for background, IGN came out with like a gameplay video of like what them fighting like a mid-level boss like partway through the game, right? And it looked like ass. Like, it didn't look like really fun. Like, I still kind of thought it looked a little bit fun, but like people were like using their abilities and stuff, and it didn't look like it really did anything. You know what I mean? Like, I saw the guy that has like the little like light thing that he sticks in the ground.
Oh yeah.
Like, he did that, but it had like a lightning effect, and it like paralyzed the lower level enemy, but didn't do anything to like the higher level enemy, kind of thing. So I don't know. It just looked like a very uninspired boss battle. And on top, stacked on top of that, whoever was playing it, as I described to Justin earlier, looked like they'd never held a twin stick controller in their life, and didn't understand that right stick is how you aim and left stick's how you move, and these you need to use together to navigate the world, right? Like, he would straight up turn around and just run away from the boss. It was what the fuck? Like, what is happening? So
this amazing new game mechanic, running away.
Run away, run away. It's my favorite song.
Oh yeah, we should get that for the Discord soundboard.
Oh yeah, we should. Yeah, yeah. Because
should I play the clip that I have on here?
Ooh, you should. Yes.
We've only made one so far. Here it is.
I whipped it out.
So it's like Tim's here.
Yeah. He's always here in spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized? On my 2-camera setup, I'm so used to it just being me and you when we do 2 cameras, but I totally forgot that me and Tim did just do me and him semi-recently. So my name underneath my window is Tim, and underneath yours, it's my name. I'm keeping it.
Let me tell you about the Chiefs. All right?
You know, it's funny. I was watching like a shortened version of the Super Bowl right before this. Anyways, back to Arcane. Fucking.
So, do you think that IGN's preview is just kind of incompetence making the game look bad?
So I think there is some of that, because then oh god, what's his name? He's a big guy on Twitter. He does purely Xbox content.
Jez?
Not Jez. Jez was dunking on Arcane for something else. Colt Eastwood.
Oh, yeah.
He came out with some footage, and it looked way better with like somebody competent playing. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. But here's the big L. Like, this is a huge L, and this is not just an Arcane problem. This is an Xbox problem. And it's the fact that this game is going to release on consoles in quality mode only. So it'll be 4K on your Xbox Series X. It'll be 4K locked at 30. And on your Series S, it'll be 1440p locked at 30. There is no 60 FPS option on release for the consoles. Obviously, the PC, if your PC can run it, it can fucking run it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can do that. And there's always way more settings to like monkey with, right? To like make it work. So
Yikes.
This is like the only like so like last year, the only really big games that came out for Xbox last year was Pentiment and Grounded, right?
Yeah, and would you call them big games even?
I think that they're good, like they're big third-party games, but they're not first-party games, right? Which is what the Achilles heel of Xbox has been forever, kind of thing, right? Because you go before that, the only real first-party game that they released was Halo. You had Gears Tactics like right at the beginning of the life cycle, right? But that's not a traditional Gears. There was also like Gears 5, which I think actually came out before the Series X, right? But honestly, now that I'm like talking this out a little bit, I think Gears 5 was probably the last AAA title from Xbox that was like well received. Like, people liked it. You know what I mean? Wasn't game of the year, but it was a good game. You know what I mean? Like, people liked it. Then you had Gears Tactics come out. Everybody liked that. It was really popular. Not a AAA game. Cool, like, side
just a
thing.
Game Pass game.
Right. Cool side thing. Then you had Halo. Initially received very well.
Yeah.
And most recently had the biggest cuts made to their campaign staff.
Yeah, dude. The one
And
thing that was everyone was like,
yeah,
I would love if there was more campaign content. Multiplayer is kind of whatever to me now, but
yeah,
if there was more campaign content, that would be
right.
great.
Uh,
Nah, those people are gone.
no, no, most of them are gone. And now you get this Redfall thing, right? Where it's just like, is this the end of the world? Like, no. If you're gonna bring a premium service and premium products, you don't bring it half-ass, and that's what this is gonna be, especially on your console. Like, if it was not fully optimized on PC, I think people would accept that more than it not having a like. I think people would prefer having a performance mode on release with a quality mode later, rather than the way that they're going about it. Like, I don't get the thought process, because nobody wants 30 FPS in 2023. This is the same shit that we dunk on Nintendo about all the time. Like, Tears of the Kingdom is probably going to be 30 to 45 FPS, and that's going to suck. But that's like old phone. Like, there's a built-in excuse. Their console's like 7 years old or whatever the fuck it is now. The Series X is like 2.
Yeah,
Like,
30 FPS just always makes me think of Bloodborne, which was, back on the PlayStation 4.
right, right. Like,
Yeesh.
when does the next generation of games really start? You know what I mean? Like, that's like it at this point. And I honestly, this is, to me, this is for both consoles. They both just seem like premium refreshes, right? Like, there is new hardware, but the content on these systems aren't so revolutionary that they required to be the PS5 or the Xbox Series X or whatever. It could have been
You can
another
get these
refresh.
remasters of these games that already
Right.
came out ages ago.
Well, and that's the thing. Most of the best games that have come out, like besides Elden Ring and God of War, they're all remasters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are we doing? It's like, so it, like, that's an industry problem in general. But just talking about Xbox, they have not had a Game of the Year contender in like a decade, even maybe longer. I don't know. We've talked about it, and you're hoping that this would be the year, right? Like, you saw all the delays happen last year. Like, oh, this is the last like push from COVID. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna fix it, and then they're gonna get on a decent release schedule, and then they come out with this shit, and it's just like, okay, well, what the fuck does that mean for Starfield? Like, what does that mean for Starfield? Cannot release 30 FPS on the fucking console. Cannot. Death knell immediately. Like,
that would be incredibly disappointing, I think.
especially after it's been delayed for almost a year at that point, right? Like, what? I don't understand why Xbox, a $1 trillion company, cannot figure out how to get games on a release schedule for their premium games on a decent release schedule and release good content. Like, where's Fable? Where's Avowed? Where are all these fucking games that have been promised 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and the two that are getting ready to come out? They seem Hellblade. Yeah, I mean, that's in the same realm. None of these games have been like really seen like anything about them, and it's just like, are they just gonna release them all next year, right? And then they're all gonna like cannibalize each other. Like, that was one of the things I was worried about with Redfall and Starfield to begin with. When they kept talking about first half, they're like, Redfall May, Starfield June. That don't make any fucking sense. So that's why when Starfield was delayed, I was like, oh, that makes sense. But now I think you could make an argument that Redfall should see a delay. And then if they see a delay, that's going to eat into Starfield again. Like, it's just not... So it's frustrating as an Xbox gamer. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, and this is something you've been talking about since Game Pass basically started. You're like, they need to have a good cadence to their releases.
Right.
And the cadence has not been great.
No. And the worst part is like, they... Like, Minecraft Legends... I think that's the one that's getting ready to come out next week.
Yeah.
Looks dope. Not a fucking AAA game. Like, your B tier is good. Like it's in general pretty good, and it's enough to justify the $15. But what am I like if I go to a PlayStation gamer, right? Premium and experience, Spider-Man, God of War. I mean, I'm gonna throw Elden Ring in there, even though it was on all consoles. But like, FromSoft is eventually gonna be a Sony property. I think everybody sees it coming. Like, it's a fucking eventuality. Um, like all these really good games, right? Premium experiences. Xbox hasn't had a premium experience. It feels like since like Halo 3 or Halo Reach. Halo Reach is my favorite,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna say
yeah,
Halo
I hear
Reach.
you.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, a lot of the stuff, like Game Pass is great. I love it for just being like full of like weird shit, weird little games to play.
right,
But it does lack that feeling of like this is where the best new Xbox games come out
right,
because there really haven't been that many
right.
since Game Pass kicked on.
Well, and the other half of this is like it kind of validates what like Red Dragon, who's like the big Sony guy on Twitter that's always dunking on
Mm.
Xbox. Like, you know what I mean? He's always talking about how like Game Pass is bad for the industry because the quality of games will be worse. If Redfall comes out and it's bad, all that does is help that argument. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because Halo, right? That's literally your two releases would be Halo and Redfall at this point. If you're talking about something that should be a AAA experience, and they're both turning out to be bad. I've been trying to defend Redfall. Like, you and
Yeah,
Tim
you have.
are very skeptical, but I'm like, oh no, like I see there's like good parts to this, right?
Hmm.
I'm trying to be like, I like to play devil's advocate to start with, but I'm trying to be a little bit more positive because I pay $15 a month in this fucking shit. You know what I mean? And I have games. I started playing the original Nino Kuni, like something the White Witch the other day. I
Hmm.
didn't know that the art style in that was made by Studio Ghibli. Looks fucking
Yeah, dude.
fantastic, dude.
Hmm.
Like, I haven't really like jumped back into it yet, but I played like an hour or two, like in the beginning. Fantastic. So I really want to go back to playing that, but like that's not what you get Game Pass for. I want day and date games that are AAA experiences, like that are new. Like
Yeah, I think that was a big part of the promise of Game Pass is we are putting these Xbox games
yep,
on this service day one,
right,
and also all this other shit. That's
yeah.
cool. But yeah, this whole pillar of like AAA
Excuse me.
games coming on is just not there.
Well, and the other piece of this too, it's only the Xbox, like literally the box, that's getting the shaft here, which is your core audience, right? Like me as a PC gamer, I can play Redfall on my computer, and I'm not gonna run into this issue. I have a 120 hertz monitor. I could probably figure out how to fucking get it to run at 120 hertz as long as it supports it. I don't play my Xbox. My wife does. That's the whole reason why I went out and bought this core controller. Right? I bought another Elite controller specifically for my PC because this is where I play all my games right now. Like, outside of Madden, which I play on my PlayStation because that's where all my league mates are or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, like I basically play everything PC. Xbox has not given me a reason to turn on the Xbox. Like, it's
Do you think
frustrating.
do you think they just don't care that much
I
anymore now
think
that Game Pass has become as
I
successful
th-
as it has?
I think they care because there's always I believe there's always going to be a market for a some type of console, right? Like, people are getting smarter, like the general populace is getting smarter when it comes to like electronics and stuff like that and how to put together your own PC. Um, but I think for parents, like, prime example, I taught, like, I don't get any signal in my new job in my office. So, but I have Wi-Fi, so I turned on Wi-Fi calling because I have unlimited everything, right? Not a big deal. My coworker that I just started working with this week didn't know Wi-Fi calling was a fucking thing. So like I had to teach him that, right? So
Mhm.
now look on the back end of this or whatever, like in a couple of years, you know what I mean? Like maybe my kids see something that I'm not familiar with, right? Like if I wasn't a big gamer or whatever, they're like, oh, I want this console, or I want to play these games. Like it's just easy to go drop the $400, $500 on the console, just plug in an HDMI cord and power cord and fucking works. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
there's always going to be a market for that, whether it's a streaming option or whatever it is. You know what I mean? I just feel like there's always going to be a market for that. So I don't know how they could be like, oh, we just don't care about that anymore. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know.
they have some showcases coming up, right? They've got the
Yeah,
Starfield showcase and just like a general Xbox showcase as well at some
yeah,
point.
yeah. But it's like, why would I be excited? Because anything you show me when it shows up on day one, it's gonna be shit. Like that's like the messaging right
That's the
now,
track
right?
record, yeah.
Right. Like why? Like I really wish somebody could just be like, hey Phil, what the fuck? Right? Like you speak real well all the time. Why is Redfall coming out 30 FPS quality mode? Like
Hmm.
why? Like I don't.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
the lack of communication is going to be bad.
well,
They're going
and
to have to get some messaging out there.
yeah, I don't know. Like so that's like the frustration as like an Xbox gamer in general. Oh, I have a daughter who doesn't want to go to sleep. What are you shrugging for?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. You're gonna sit with me. You gotta be quiet. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Here's a blanket.
I forgot something.
Did you, hold on. Did you poop
Oh no.
or did you fart?
I just bought it.
Okay. You stink.
Just a fart.
Yeah. All right. Now you need to be quiet. Anyways.
I did.
Oh.
Oh my god. Yeah, I just muted it there real quick. Anyways. So yeah. So that's kind of like the frustration. Like it does feel like Microsoft is like fuck the core gamer a little bit here. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's what's kind of frustrating with, because I do still think there's good qualities to Redfall, but I think even at its best is probably like a B tier game, not triple A. What's double A? That's what I'm trying to think of.
Sure.
I always kind of thought of it as like more of a double A game, as like an appetizer to Starfield, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, kind of like the way um, Obsidian.
Yeah,
Was it Obsidian that did Pentiment
Yeah.
as well?
yeah,
Yeah, that was just like kind of this side project for
yeah.
them. This feels like kind of what that is for Arcane in a way.
I feel like it's personally, I feel like it's a little bit more of a main project for them. But I just like if you're looking at their titles, if I had to like, if you have Starfield as AAA and Minecraft Legends as AA, I feel like Redfall leans a little bit more to the AA side than the AAA side in that aspect, kind of thing. But if you can't get the AA's right, why would I ever expect you to get the AAA games right? Like I don't like, regardless of who is making it, like it doesn't, like you have all these really good studios. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just all super frustrating when it comes to it. So
Yeah, maybe these studios are just ready to just give up. They had these high towers that they were in, and now the towers are collapsing around them. That seems to be what Monster thinks happening with Nintendo. Apparently,
oh my god,
Monster
dude.
Energy thinks that they can just sue Pokemon.
Oh, bro. I can. So for those who don't know, which I don't know how you wouldn't really know this at this point, but Pokemon was originally called Pocket Monsters, right? Like that's what
Why,
that's
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what it stands for. And Monster Energy, the company that didn't exist when Pokemon started existing, or Monster Hunter, who they're also trying to go after, is trying to sue Pokemon and Monster Hunter for using the word monster.
What a stupid litigation,
Dude,
Oh my
good
God.
fucking luck. I want to see this go to court just so I can see how hard Monster gets dunked on. Like, I don't know, man. I would love to see, and this won't happen, but like a counter sue from one of these companies, specifically Nintendo, to the point where like Monster just ends up being owned by Nintendo. You know what I
Oh my
mean? Just
God.
it just because it's such a waste of everybody's fucking time. Like,
Yeah, it seems so bizarre.
Yeah.
I'd be very curious to see what their terms are in that suit.
I just don't. So I guess in the past, so like we were talking about earlier, so Immortal Phoenix Rising was originally supposed to be called Gods and Monsters, but Monster like sent, I think it's Ubisoft that made that game.
Ubisoft, yeah.
Yeah, sent them like a cease and desist or some shit or whatever. So they just changed the title just to like make things easier, right? It's just easier to change the title at that point. Nintendo's not gonna roll over like that, especially with the biggest fucking franchise on the planet. Like, just good luck. I don't I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna do with that. I don't know.
Yeah, absolute insanity. What's next, man? Monster Rancher? You want to go back?
The IP that's basically dead. That
Yeah.
we were all basically gifted the remaster of the first and second game, and now they're just gonna be like, oh, Monster Rancher, nah, fuck them. Are they gonna go after Digimon too? Like
Yeah,
what are we
there's a monster
doing?
in there. Oh my
Ay, ay.
gosh. Yeah.
I can't with these fucking people, dude. Like
Goofy stuff, man. Just
100%.
game companies and weird litigation, they go hand in hand. That's
At,
why there's that YouTuber who's got a whole channel based on video game law shit.
oh yeah, Hogue Law, Hogue, yeah.
Tim's gonna be so mad that you pronounced it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's got that. And then I was listening to Destin recently, who I forget what his I want to say he works for IGN or he worked for IGN
Okay.
or something, but he did a thing recently about how Sony keeps whining the same argument the whole time about this Activision Blizzard thing. Like Sony is legitimately out here saying that uh, if Activision Blizzard becomes one, Xbox is going to make a worse Call of Duty product for PlayStation, and then PlayStation will cease to exist.
Jesus.
Like that's like that's
So goofy.
their justification. And I'm just like, in what world? Like, hey, PlayStation, remember Killzone? Your last Killzone game that came out on the PlayStation 4 release honestly wasn't that bad. It was actually a pretty good time. Where's that whole IP? Where'd it go? What did you buy Bungie for? Like what are we make a shooter? Like don't make a third person action game, which is your bread and butter at this point cuz you look what is it, The Last of Us, Spider-Man, God of War, I don't know, name a fucking premium game from them. It's all the same type, right? It's just different like genres really at that point. I don't know. Like
Third person A, B, and C.
yeah, I say genre because I'm thinking like Spider-Man's way different than God of War or whatever, but yeah. So, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's really goofy the way they say these things as if that would ever happen, like as if it's something that's happened before. Like, oh yeah, it was pretty fucked up how everyone in the like GameCube, Xbox, PlayStation 2 era, everyone had a copy of Soul Calibur, but yeah, ours was way worse. No, that did not happen.
Yeah, yeah. I do remember Soul Calibur wanting to play as
Yeah, Soul Calibur 2, and
yeah,
they had like
Darth
characters for
Vader,
each console.
Yoda.
I think that was the next one. I think
Oh,
it
was it?
3. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember being like, man, I really wish I could play as Darth Vader. I do remember thinking that, but I was like, but I got Yoda. Like it's cool.
Doesn't ruin the game.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. I just don't understand how like, especially when Sony has had like consistently like bought like not exclusive but like timed exclusive like DLC content or guns or like other stuff.
Tons of it.
Like,
PlayStation is the company that does that.
right. And it's just like, how do you? I don't know. Like,
It's just like gaslighting Microsoft.
100%. Which is why did we talk about it last week about how Microsoft, basically like, hey, poked Washington, like, hey,
Yeah.
go look at this shit. Since they're being such dicks, like, just go look into their stuff. Since apparently, they own 98%. Nintendo doesn't exist. 98% of the high end console game market. Yep. Sony 98%. It's a pretty big percent. Sounds like
Congress
Monopoly.
figured it out.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. That's just it's fucking.
So goofy.
Yeah, I just look that thing just needs to close already, so I can cancel my pre-order for Diablo 4 because it'll become day and date to Game Pass. That would be AAA game. That beta I played, I got high hopes, and that would be a huge AAA game. I know I was talking about it last week about like what their cadence would look like if they could add Diablo to it. Would be fucking fantastic, is what it would be. I don't think it's like the merger's gonna happen, but if Redfall comes out and sucks, it'll be like this. the whole,
Right.
with like these releases. Because I have a feeling that Minecraft Legends is going to be fun. I know you were talking
Yeah,
about
it
wanting
looks
to play it.
quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to get some games in,
Yes.
me and Tim.
I'm going to tell you what. I am a lot more free in the afternoons now.
Nice.
I get home about 4:30. And I'll tell you what. My job right now, I don't do jack shit.
Hell yeah.
I don't do nothing right now. I go to work and I'm like, what am I gonna do to fill my time today until like I have to bring Nora to school, and then like, what am I gonna do for the next couple hours until I have to go pick her up? That's
a beautiful thing right there.
yeah. Like I'm sure I'll get like a little bit more responsibilities as we go on here, but this is like, I went from like thinking about work all the time, like breakneck speed all the time. Like on Saturdays, I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot to do that. You know what I mean? Like it's the weekend and I'm just thinking about work. Now I go into work and I'm like, what do I do so I at least look busy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice. Yeah, it's a nice change of pace for the next. Hopefully, it'll be like this all year. I got that job for the next year. So, so yeah, it's good times. So
Beautiful.
Um.
So, what else do we got? Any other gaming? Oh, Summer Games Done Quick is coming up very soon here. Let me see if I can find the date because I don't remember when it's actually happening.
Yeah, I always only watch like a little bit of that, but I know that's like your jam.
Fucking love it, dude.
Yeah.
I just fucking love it. Coming up soon. Very soon. You like speedrunning? You like video games? Watch it. There's a shit ton of them, and they're all great.
We could talk about the Mario movie. Have you heard about that?
Have I heard about it?
Did you go see it?
And watched it.
Oh!
Today.
Did
I
you?
watched it this morning. Yes.
You mother... And you didn't even mention it?
I didn't think about it. I'm wearing my fucking Shy Guy shirt.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Damn. Yeah, dude.
Tell me about it. I've heard it's like one of the biggest splits ever on Rotten Tomatoes in between critics and like normal people.
Yeah. Critics?
Yeah.
Normal people? Yeah. Which I think is really a good sign that you're going to enjoy a movie when you see that split. Yeah, it was really good. It was Illumination Studio, the people who did like the Minions and shit.
Yeah.
Who made it. And I was really I had a lot of fun. There's so many references to the video games. And like just the way they had the humor was very fun. There were a lot of like almost like Acme cartoon visual gags and shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of it felt like very old school in that sense. The dialogue was great. The voice acting was great. Chris Pratt was fine. I wasn't mad about that at all. There's actually minor spoiler in the beginning, they have like a commercial that Mario and Luigi make, right?
Oh,
for their
okay.
plumbing business.
Okay.
And during the commercial, they are using like Italian accents. And it sounds so goofy. But as soon as the commercial's over, then they're just like talking regularly. And
I like it.
I was talking to Andrea about it, and she was like, "Do you think they did that so that people who were complaining about Chris Pratt not doing the accent would be like, you know, maybe this would have fucking sucked if it sounded like this the whole time." Like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, they used it as a gag to also be like, hey, shut the fuck up. We know what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's funny. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. There's a lot of like Mario Kart related stuff, which I knew there's gonna be like Rainbow Road or whatever, but there's like a lot of Mario Kart stuff going on. That was really cool. Really enjoyed it. It had like a cool, not like, almost like claymation vibe to it, like the way that they textured the models,
right?
Which was sweet. There was also a lot of stuff that reminded me of like the live action Super Mario movie, which I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it's kind of fun to think about. And yeah, they definitely sprinkled some stuff in that made it seem like they're going to be able to do a sequel coming up for it.
Oh, good.
So I look forward to any additional Nintendo movies, and I know this one did really well in the box office.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll get some more Nintendo action.
Yeah, my daughter keeps coming to the door just like with a different toy. Right? Just like, Dad. It's just like, yeah. She's like, you want to play with this? No, go. God. You're not being the quiet little Snugglebug you were like 3 weeks ago or whatever, where she just sat here and then fell asleep the whole time. Anyways, no, I'm really good to hear. I'm really glad to hear that movie actually turned out to be good. It gives me hope for future video game movies, like kind of in general, because like you had The Last of Us.
We've got a good little spree going right
Yeah,
now.
because the talk for a long time was that it was no good. Yeah,
Impossible to do a video game movie. Yeah, I think Detective Pikachu was kind of the first one that was very
that's true.
successful, and
Yeah.
then Sonic came out, and Sonic was great.
Yeah.
and second
After
Sonic
they got bullied into making it better, yeah.
after that hideous looking Sonic from
Yeah.
their initial release.
Oh man, you made me want to watch Detective Pikachu now. I haven't watched it in
It's
a while.
a good movie.
Dude,
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds
I should buy
playing
that
Pikachu.
movie.
I think we have
that
it.
was really good.
I think we bought it digitally, honestly.
I think the basic thing that we've learned is that to make a good video game movie, you take real life and
Yep.
you take the video game and you smash them together.
Yeah. Well, you
and it's a good
also
movie.
take like one really good actor, right? Like Ryan Reynolds,
Yes.
Chris Pratt to like
think
kind of
that's
like
true.
carry like the movie a little bit.
A little star power.
Yeah, and then kind of really. I didn't connect it, but then I saw your little smirk, you motherfucker.
I didn't even subconscious kicked in on that one.
Yeah, but no, you're right. Yeah, a little bit of star power to kind of carry it along. So, I also wanted to know. Oh my god, hold on, my daughter's yelling at me. Hold on, 2 seconds.
No problem. I'll just think about all the funny scenes from the Super Mario Brothers movie. Like, oh yeah, there's that one. Oh, that was funny. Oh, and that one thing that Toad said, that was unexpected. Oh, Toad.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna make this quick, because she is in there washing her hands by herself, which it's a 3-year-old. So, fast round here. Lo-Fi Girl now has a partner with Synthwave Boy, which I'm a big
Yes,
Lo-Fi
that was
fan.
cool.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this a little bit. Synthwave Boy, the announcement for that was just like super cool. I actually went back and watched it, and they had like a countdown, and then when the countdown ended, it was in like a different room than the normal Lo-Fi Girl spot too.
Yeah, they had like 2 different video feeds going,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
they had one video feed of like Lo-Fi Girl like looking out her window at a
Yeah.
different window and zooming in on it.
Yep.
And the other point of view is like this: you're in a room and there's a door,
Yep.
and then the dude comes in
Yep.
and like opens the door and he goes into the room.
Yep. And he's got his
There's
nice
another
happy
video.
little puppy, or
Yeah.
being all excited and shit. So that was
That was really cool.
super dope. Also, there is a song going around that I can't find it's a collaboration. It's an animation collaboration for Mario and Bowsette is what it has, and it's like
Oh god.
it's like these animators all got together and they animate Mario, and like it's a whole song, but they have like 100, like literally 100 different animations throughout the song. I'll have to find it once we're off the show. But the female who does like the singing for that piece is fantastic. Like it is super good. The dude who does Mario, because Mario like raps throughout it and the girl like more sings, he's good too. But like the female like really like carries the song, and it is very good. So that's also what made me think of the Mario movie.
You had me at Bowsette.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Bowsette. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna find it. Honestly, I saw it on TikTok and like I just like kept seeing it. Like I've seen it a bunch.
Yeah, you'll have to find that. That
Yeah,
sounds
I'm
sweet.
gonna look it up on YouTube. So, but I'm gonna have to end the show here because small child, yeah, unsupervised.
Understood.
So
This has been Olip.
yeah, we will be back next Wednesday, 10 o'clock. We may have Tim and Justin and I may put our names back to what they're supposed to be, or we might not. We might just adopt new names. Who knows?
That's right.
I whipped it out.
Tim whipped it out.
He did. So, all right, we love you. We will see you next week. Bye.